So, we're wearing color in today's video, and that's exactly what we're going to be talking about. So essentially what inspired this video today is actually my phone case. I have this little sticker on my phone, which is the Tibi Color Wheel created by Amy Smilovic. She gave me her blessing to make this video, so I am going to teach you everything I've learned about color and incorporating color into your wardrobe in a way that feels really elevated, exciting, and really cohesive with the rest of your wardrobe. A few years ago when I was decluttering my closet to find my personal style and really heal my emotional relationship with shopping, I actually said one of the things that I stopped buying was color because I just felt like it never really worked for me. Nowadays, as you can see, color is slowly creeping back into my wardrobe, and I'm actually wearing it in a way that I feel really cool and elevated and like myself. And I'm going to introduce you to the Tibi Color Wheel so you can start to learn how to combine colors in a way that's really natural and intuitive. So this is going to be a long one, I think. Get your coffee, get your tea, make sure you're subscribed if you haven't already. So let's get into how to start wearing color in a way that feels chic, cool, elevated, and effortless. All the things that we want to feel when getting dressed. So first I want to get into how to actually start adding color to your wardrobe, especially if you are mostly accustomed to wearing black and white. Amy calls this the black and white rut, and I can very much attest to that because for years I chased after that black and white minimalist wardrobe. A lot of times when I show you guys even my old closets, a lot of people are just like, oh, how sad, it's only black and white, how drab. And after a while I started to feel that way too.
There's a place where life is simple. People are perfect. And everything is black and white.
Honey, I'm home.
But how do you fix that? So the first thing that you can do to get out of that black and white rut is not to jump from black and white straight to a bunch of saturated colors. Maybe this is where you can start to consider adding things like navy, brown, gray, beige, camel. When you start to expand your color palette slowly but surely, then it won't feel as shocking or jarring to start adding different colors into your wardrobe. And this, of course, is only if you want to add color. If whatever you're doing right now works for you, then there's nothing wrong with it. And I also really think it's important to keep that in mind throughout this video. The next mistake that I made when it came to adding color to my own wardrobe was essentially just buying a bunch of different colors and then only pairing them with black. So not only did I sort of leap to a bunch of different colors a bit too quickly, but I didn't really know how to combine them in a way that made me feel really chic, elevated, and cool. And essentially, if I'm putting my finger on it now, looking back, it just felt really flat and really harsh, really contrasted. For me, it just didn't quite hit the nail on the head. So let me introduce you to the solution in terms of how to combine color in a way that feels interesting, dynamic, fluid, and just good. And that is the Tibi Color Wheel. This is an absolutely ingenious way to think about how to combine colors in your wardrobe. Whether you have a wardrobe full of neutrals or a wardrobe full of bold colors, prints, and textures, I think everyone can get some value from this color wheel and how it works to really expand your palette.
Oh, okay, I see what you did there.
In creating different outfits and vibes that feel amazing. So breaking it down, the color wheel is split into 4 rings. You have ring 1 in the center, which is pure black. And then moving up from there, you have ring 2, which are your good neutrals like your navy, gray, creams, whites, browns, and olive greens. And then ring 3 is a really interesting wheel. These are the colors that are typically ish. You can't really quite name them, but you can sort of name the undertone in it. So green-ish, brown-green, orange-ish, yellow-ish, red-ish. They all have like a tinge of color to them, and there might be a debate on the color that I see versus what you see, but they all also have like a gray-brown undertone to them, which keeps them closer to the neutral family versus a more saturated one. And then finally, ring 4, we have the bold colors. These are your brights, your intense, bold, saturated colors. And here you may also see pastel colors in those same shades. So if you're a person who wears a lot of black, but you want to incorporate more color and just get out of that rut a little bit, you want to work from the center of the ring and move outwards. And conversely, if you're a person who has a ton of bright and bold colors in your wardrobe, and maybe you're looking to tone it down a little bit or wear your colors in a different way, you start from the perimeter of the ring and then work your way to center. So I want to show you how you can use the color wheel to create different outfits and color combinations using all of the rings in the color wheel. Essentially, we're going to be doing some color math. And what you want to pay attention to is how you can skip between rings or gradually move out or into the rings to create different moods, different feelings, and different levels of contrast within those combinations. And the mistake that I made when it came to learning how to combine colors is that I was skipping rings. So I would often take ring 1, which is black, and just combine it with a color in ring 4. And then I'd sort of wonder why it felt a little bit too much, too heavy, and too bold. So a solution to that would be to slowly, gradually move up the ring. So maybe I want to combine ring 1 with ring 3 to keep it a little bit more neutral and muted. Maybe I don't want to wear black, so I'm going to take some of the good neutrals and then combine it with a no color color. And conversely, if I'm wearing something really strong and bold in ring 4, if I want to tone it down and make it a little bit softer, then that's where I'll consider taking something from ring 3 or even ring 2 before I even think about jumping into ring 1, because depending on how you want to feel, that might just be too big of a leap. So I've added a few brights to my wardrobe just to demonstrate my point here. I'll also show you some photos of different outfits so you can get a better idea. Let's just try with this red. Depending on my color grading here, you might call it like a red-orange, but it's definitely a red. There is no debate on that. It's not reddish green or reddish brown or reddish gray. It's a full tilt red. So this is a ring 4. We're living in ring 4. But I want to show you how this top can pair with different parts of the ring. So in this outfit, I'm going kind of a ton. I'm going ring 4 on ring 4. I have this super bright blue pair of trousers. I can't believe I own these, but they are really cool. So we're going very bright on bright, but this outfit kind of works because we're going for it here. Now what about combining ring 4 plus ring 3? So here I have the saturated red top still, but then I want to combine it with something a little bit more subtle. So I'm gonna go with these trousers. They're kind of like a dark stone. They're a little bit gray, a little bit green. So that's why it lands in the ring 3. And then if I want to with this, I can really ground it in the good neutrals like a navy, a gray, or even a black for the shoe and a bag option. Now let's do ring 4 to ring 2. So here you can see it's starting to get a little bit more harsh, a little bit more contrast is happening here. Not quite full on black, but if I decide to combine the red top with these navy trousers, maybe it's starting to feel a little bit more nautical. Or if I combine it with white, it feels really contrasting, maybe a bit Christmassy or Valentine's Day. And then finally, if we combine ring 4 with ring 1, you can really see how this contrasts quite sharply. There's nothing wrong with any of these outfits. It's really just to demonstrate how to jump across the rings in a very slow and steady way compared to making larger leaps. But at the end of the day, it's really about the mood and the vibe that you're going for. So when you're doing this at home with your own colorful pieces, if something feels off, think about where you are in the ring and how far across you're jumping between them to see if you can really pinpoint down what feels off or what feels good about the outfit. And just to give you a few more examples, because what if you don't want to live in ring 4 at all, you can really start combining across the rings. So you might want to combine ring 1 plus ring 2. That can still create nice and rich outfits grounded in your good neutrals, or you can even mix ring 3 with ring 2. That feels really muted and calm and soft to the eye. And then again, if you want a little bit more contrast, you can do things like mixing ring 1, which is black, with ring 3, and that just gives a little bit more boldness to the look. So now that we know about the color wheel and exactly how to use it, the next level in combining some of these colors in the rings is the concept of 1 ton or none. When I first learned about this concept, I thought it was absolutely genius. When we're talking about none, we're talking about a good mix of neutrals. Each color is sort of indistinguishable from the other. They're very low in saturation. It's very soft and settling to the eye. It's usually all ring 1 together, or all ring 2, or even all ring 3, because it's a bit softer than your ring 4, and everything just sort of blends together when you look at the outfit. Now compare that to a 1. This is essentially your pop of color, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. So you could be wearing your ring 1 or ring 2 with the rest of your outfit, then you throw on a green sweater or a colorful bag. Or you could be doing something really neutral and then you throw in a sharp white shoe or white bag. That suddenly becomes your 1. It's really about where the eye takes you first. If I'm looking at this full outfit from head to toe in all black, that would be a none because my eye just settles on the whole fit. It doesn't really directionally go anywhere in one particular direction. Now, if I throw on a white shoe, that would immediately be a 1. It's not necessarily a pop of color, but my eye immediately gets drawn to that color, and that's how you know it's a 1. And finally, we have ton. So you can see this outfit that I was wearing before with the green shoes, blue pants, and then really bright saturated cardigan. This is definitely a ton because it's very bold, it's very bright. We're mixing all the ring 3 colors together, but for some reason, the eye still settles. You're not bouncing all over the place, zeroing in on one particular thing. It's still really sort of calming and interesting despite being really bright and bold. Now contrast that with something like a 2. It's not a 1 and it's not a ton, it's kind of somewhere in the middle, and it just doesn't seem to work as well because your eye is sort of darting all over the place. It doesn't really know where to look, and things are sort of competing with each other in different tones and saturations. So if you feel like something is a little bit off in terms of your color combination, where your eye is feeling unsettled, you don't really know where to look first, then you might find yourself in a 2 situation compared to a 1, ton, or none. And it really only takes a minor adjustment to sort of find your way back and feel that settling and relaxation with the eye. This does take a little bit of practice, but I think the more you start thinking about it in the back of your mind when you're creating outfits and looking at outfits that you're drawn to, see if they're really playing around with that 1, ton, or none. It is a pattern that Amy and the team at Tibby have sort of narrowed down to identify and put it into words about why an outfit may be working versus not, and why some people can really pull off these really crazy, bright, interesting color and outfit combinations versus others. And the final thing I want to touch on as well when it comes to adding things like colors, patterns, and brightness to your wardrobe is the concept of texture. So like I said earlier in the video, the solve for adding color to your wardrobe may not necessarily to be going out and buying a cotton red t-shirt to add that pop of color in your wardrobe. And that's because there's not a lot going on with it. So when you combine it with other flat textures like other cottons, wools, things like that, it can tend to still feel a little bit flat. I think I could do a whole video on this as well, but I'll really quickly touch on the concept of bigs and pigs when it comes to Tibi color theory. So when you're feeling like you want to add something to your wardrobe that's either in a bright, bold color or in a really interesting pattern, then fabrication, silhouette, and proportions matter. So B stands for brights, P stands for pattern, and IGS stands for icky, glossy, or sculptural. So anything icky is described as being kind of tacky to the touch. If you could describe it as like gummy, shiny, hairy, puffy, nubby, there's just ickiness to it. It's not smooth, it's not flat. There's just something going on to it. G is for glossy, so it's made out of something that's really shiny, slick, it reflects light. And S is for sculptural. So the shape, proportion, or silhouette of the garment is like very extreme. It's got a shape to it, something that feels really modern and futuristic, or angular and curved. So for example, even with my sweater, this I would describe as a little bit icky because it's made out of a wool that's a little bit fuzzy, a little bit nubby. There's definitely a texture to this. It's not just a flat, sleek merino wool or a cotton. So it gives a little bit more depth and dimension, especially when I combine it with things like wools or even denim. So that's if I'm wearing that in my color, but if I'm wearing no color, and I've talked about this in many videos before, I'll add depth and dimension using texture as well. So you can add like a patent shiny boot, and then with a sweater that's really fuzzy and weird and nubby, you start to see the patterns here, right? You start to see when you feel like an outfit is a little bit more interesting and less minimalistic, less flat, you start to notice these textures and how it helps sort of boost everything and just make it feel a little more interesting and deep. So that is my crash course into color. That's my little Tibi Color Wheel masterclass here on YouTube. And for me, when I first learned about this, it just really opened up the potential and the horizons and opportunity to add more fun color and pattern to my wardrobe in a way that felt really interesting and exciting. Because I've definitely been frustrated with adding color in the past, and I was just so tired of buying pieces that ended up being decluttered because I never ended up wearing them, and I just decided that color wasn't for me. If you feel the same, I hope this video has helped you find out that that is not necessarily true, and now you have a lot more range to play within your wardrobe when it comes to color. Let me know if you learned something from this video. Please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends if you found some value in this. And make sure you're subscribed. So I have a lot more I can share from the style Bible that I learned. And if you want to learn more about this, definitely check out the Tibby style classes and follow Amy on TikTok and Instagram. I will leave everything linked down below for you so you can go check it out. There is such a wealth of knowledge on there when it comes to personal style and just learning how to elevate your own using the clothes you already have. Thank you again so much for watching, and I'll see you next Sunday. Bye.